Peace, y'all. This is G1.
This is Rod Stars.
Together, we Rebel Diaz.
We're coming at you live with another episode of In Ya Don't Stop.
This week, Claudia continues the conversation with Chicago Teachers Union President Karen Lewis. Rod Stars hits the streets to continue the conversation about schools, not prisons. And we have more music and more words from Saba representing Pivot Gang in Chicago.
Let's go to Claudia with El Reporte for the second part in the continuation of her interview with CTU President Karen Lewis.
What are members doing in advancing what the demands were of 2012?
We are actually forcing the board to do the job that they were, one, agreed to, but also, two, to put things in a different perspective about this really is about kids. So, as opposed to just trying to get back at us. And I think what's been really interesting out of this is people are looking at things that we got that are working. How do we make that better? Things that we didn't get, how do we start asking for those things? Because there are things that we literally cannot negotiate that mostly every other district in the state can negotiate. We cannot negotiate class size. People don't understand that. That's something that we know is good for kids to have smaller class sizes. We can't negotiate that. Now, if they choose to talk about it, then we can. But we certainly couldn't strike over class size, because if we struck over class size, that would have been an illegal strike. But it is something that parents want to do. So what we're looking at now is how do we involve parents and their issues in the negotiation process? We want to actually open things, make it more transparent to the public, and also have our members even more involved than they were last time. We took 35 members to the negotiation table. This was not just an officer and 5 or 6 people negotiations. We had a very large negotiation team last time. We want to make it even bigger and include parents and their issues.
You've expressed that there's a tale of two cities. How has that been created?
There were government policies in place that promoted segregation. There were business policies in place that promoted segregation, but there were also Black elites who had interest in promoting segregation because they thought political power can come from this concentration of Black people in certain parts of town. Because that's where this kind of started, like before World War II. Those patterns were intentional. They were not like, okay, that's where people just want to live. This is where people were steered. What has happened is that there's this notion of, well, people can live wherever they want to anymore. There are no more restrictive covenants. But what people don't understand is that the nature of the way people live and how they move and where they decide to go are also based on where the jobs are, where the schools are, how community redevelops itself. And it doesn't do it without policies in place to promote that. So where we are right now is that we have had neighborhoods that have been basically neglected since the riots in 1967. There's some that we've had no development in these areas. We've had no incentivizing business to come in, plants to come in. When we lost the industrial base because all the jobs got NAFTA'd out, right? So what we are seeing are the remnants of decades and decades and decades of neglect, intentional, some unintentional, because once you don't see something, it's out of sight, out of mind, you forget about it until it comes to the fore. So how do you get people to move anywhere? They want good restaurants and entertainment venues. They want good schools for their children. And those are selling points. If we don't have any kind of plan for changing those basic tenets, those are just basic economic tenets. It's not like it's rocket science. That we are going to continue to see a devaluation of so many parts of the city, so that we will see the urban downtown area continue to grow and flourish, and the rest of the place kind of wither and die on the vine. That's problematic.
Peace, y'all. This is Rod Stars with another edition of Word on the Streets for In Ya Don't Stop. We're on the west side of Chicago right now. Let's see if we can talk to some of these parents out here about the hashtag schools, not prisons.
If we do our part as the adults and teach them more what we need to be teaching them, we'll get a lot better results on that.
Education is knowledge, and knowledge is the key to life.
School is really important, so we need funding there. Obviously, if you have more funding in schools, then probably it'd be less likely that people end up in prison.
Because then if you educate your students better, your children of America and tomorrow, they're not going to need to be in prison.
Because that ain't right for these people to be getting locked up and going to jail and suffering and getting salami sandwiches with that hard bread. So that's not right. My stomach was hurt. I was in there all night. I had to walk home. People was blowing out the horn at me. I was only 17 years. I was scared. Restore the justice.
Well, over here it's prisons, but it should be schools. But it is prisons. When I went to prison, it was maybe 8 prisons. When I left prison, it was 26. Then, as far as with the county jail here, it was from maybe 3 blocks. Now it's going from 7 blocks, and it's buildings everywhere around there. So prison is money over here, and that's what they're about.
Poverty in the city is the biggest violent act towards the people, and our people have. Not only are the schools closed, the mental health clinics have been closed, there's no resources left in our community. So what do people expect? So for me, the school and the closure of schools is helping feed the school to prison pipeline.
Tell us a little bit about the importance of these youth arts programs. First of all, led you to come up in your music, and also in general, how they provide an alternative to the Chicago violence that we've been seeing too much lately on the news.
I think there needs to be hella more of places like Young Chicago Authors is one of the specific ones that I went to. Hella 15, 16-year-olds, and all of them are doing poetry workshops or rap workshops or production workshops, but it's just something to do that's not negative. Doing poetry open mics kind of helped me learn how to write, because I could always rap, but my writing wasn't dope. It was just dope flows or whatever, so you focused more. And then I started getting A's in homework and everything too, in the English class, when I get hella old and get hella bread, and I would just put those places like that everywhere.
You did one of my favorite joints off of the Chance the Rapper Acid Rap record you were on, produced by one of my homies, DJ Ozone. Tell us a little bit about that experience collaborating with Chance the Rapper, and also what some of the future plans are in terms of promoting Comfort Zone, in terms of new music and new tours coming up.
Collaborating with Chance first, hella dope. We met in a similar to what we was just talking about, the open mic scene. He was in a similar background kinda, so it just made sense. Ozone is hella dope. Just had to throw that in there. I never stopped making music, so it's as far as what happens with Comfort Zone and what happens with my release, I feel getting that to the people is kind of out of my hands. I can only do so much, but one thing that I can do is make music, so that's...
Wake up, air, day feeling good. Wake up, air, day feeling good.
Out of town, only showing love. Bought my new shit for my niggas in the... Wake up, air, day feeling good. Wake up, air, day feeling good. Out of town, homie showing love. I got up out of bed this morning feeling like some butter. Toast up in my toaster or some waffles, boy, whatever. Pick my nappy fro, but boy, I used to have the butter the stay. Tell them everything's great. Hey, part in my pocket. Patient Yahweh, mature for our age. Daily to parlay. We got here upon fate. Got 10 to dolly, cause I've been the best for 2 years now. Till the dude sit down, I'ma do it however the I want. You thought because you want. Yeah, we lost, up and coming. Yeah, we are. Where I'm from, bitch, that be Austin. You worry about the wrong things. Money can't buy you love or make your dreams come true. So I'm just bored. Wake up every day feeling good. Wake up every day feeling good. Out of town, homie showing love. Want my new for my in the. Wake up every day feeling good. Wake up every day feeling good. Out of town, homie showing love. Want my new for my in the hood. They love you, you're here. They hate you, who cares? My father told me that the world was mine when I was 5. Figured I could never fall in life, so why not try? to think of.